Hey everyone, it's Teo Shantae Plans and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be memory planning the week of September 18th to the 24th, and I'm using the Gentleness Kit from Saucy Stickers Co. This video is going to be a little bit different than my previous videos because I'm going to do this as a talk-through style, and I also wanted to do this as more of a planner class style. And so a lot of times when I used to do my voiceovers, it was more about like sharing about the plans and what was happening in my planner, and this video is going to be focused a lot on the techniques that I'm doing and how I approach my planning and what goes into my thought process when I'm creating a spread. So starting off with the kit that I'm using, and also I guess I should reference really quickly that I do have a planner that is just this is my plum paper planner that I just write in. I just turned to a blank page because I don't share this publicly. I don't put any stickers in it. I just write in this planner because what I do in this planner, which is the Saucy Stickers B6 planner, it's undated, so it doesn't have the month or any of the days of the weeks or anything like that printed on it. It's completely blank, which allows me to decorate it with stickers and have fun with that. And so I am able to use this just purely decoratively and for memory keeping because I have my functional planner. So turning back to the week that we're in, and oftentimes my functional planner is up to date whilst my decorative planner is frequently behind, which is perfectly fine. So for this spread, I will be using a journaling kit and Hobonichi kit from Saucy Stickers Co., which I'm really happy with because with a Hobonichi kit you get 6 full boxes, you get lots of half boxes, quarter boxes, some cute little fancy boxes, brush strokes. On this page we've got some torn paper, more fancy boxes, brush strokes, floral deco, Monday through Sunday habit tracker, bottom washi, which is perfect for the length of a B6 planner because that's going to run, it's actually longer than the full length of the B6 planner, which is awesome. I tend to not buy B6 kits. I still buy A5 wide size kits, and then sometimes if a shop offers it, I'll pick up a Hobonichi kit and a journaling kit, which is the situation for this spread. I tend to always pick up the journaling kits these days when I am buying a kit for my planner, but especially when I'm doing a Hobonichi kit, just to make sure I have everything I need to fill out my spread and really bring a lot of style and character to it. So this is going to give me a lot of fun elements to work with. Love the quotes and things on here. And this has a very vintage vibe to it. Also picked up the floral deco and I just got 2 sheets of that. So going into this, I know this is the foundation of what it is that I'm going to need, and this is non-foiled, which I'm really excited about because I have lots of foiled fall elements in silver foil that I don't get to use very often. This is my silver foiled binder from Ray and Tay, and I'm really excited because I have lots of foiled elements in here that are silver, that are fall themed, that I don't always get to use as much because most fall themed items are gold or rose gold. So I'm going to take this opportunity and pull out some of my fall elements in silver foil and see if I can play around with that for this spread. So I definitely want to pull out anything that's like giving me cute pumpkin vibes. I am absolutely going to need clusters. I always do. And then also just in looking at this, I want to pull anything that's giving me very vintage vibes as well, because I want to add that in. These scripts are going to be so good because there's scripts and music notes in this in the deco elements of this kit, so I want to play up all of those fun elements. Got some vintage foiled florals here. That's gonna be fun. I have these music note sheet dividers. Absolutely going to pull that in. Loving the postage stamps. That feels very vintagey. These are some of my favorite things. These are the ink stroke dividers. I adore those. So good. Let's see what else. Oh, I feel like the other thing, in addition to having like the music notes and very fall vintage vibes, this also has lotus flowers in it. And I have some lotus flowers from summer, so I'm gonna pull out a couple of those. Not sure at all what will or won't get used, but I'm just pulling out some things so I have some options at the moment. We've got some lotus lily clusters. Pull out the coffee rings. That plays into that vintage vibe. And I think that might be it for what I need. And this is basically how I approach all of my spreads. I start by taking a flip through my various sticker books and pulling out some of the things that I know I'll need as I go into a spread, but I always like to flip through my foiled deco for sure, because I know I'm going to need to pull in some of this stuff. I know I will need some sort of like foiled leaf accent. Let's see. These are cute, like this. This will be so good to have, because I know I'm going to put down colorful florals and I like pulling in different accents and things like this. Ooh, these are good too. I love these. Okay. Alrighty. So that is good to get me started with that. And then I think probably everything else I will pull as I go. So, approaching my spread, I'm in a B6 planner, which means I've got 3 columns on each page. I like doing a week on 2 pages, and I also like having a sidebar. And so to accomplish what all I want, let me turn to a complete spread so I can actually make that make sense. And in fact, I want to turn to the spread that's going to be the inspiration for this, which is this spread, which is the last time I used a Hobonichi kit for a weekly spread. I'm going to do some things very, very similar to this. But for me, being in a B6 planner, I like having my bottom washi, a sidebar, and then I take and split the days of the week in half, these other 5 columns. And so we've got Monday through Friday at the top, Saturday and Sunday in the middle, and then these columns at the bottom just become very decorative. And I get to decorate those areas or put full boxes there. In this case, because I'm working with the little mini full boxes, because I have a Hobonichi kit, this works out so well for me being in a B6 planner, because it allows me to run the full boxes along the middle, which I typically wouldn't do when using an A5 wide sized kit, because they are much too big for that. And so a lot of times when I'm working with kits with full sized full boxes, I'll just put the full boxes in this space, and that ends up giving me that same thing where again I've got those days split right down the middle, and we've got Monday through Friday at the top, Saturday and Sunday in the middle, and then I can put my full boxes in those other sections. And so that is a really good way to approach your planner, because if you're new to planning, or it can be intimidating looking at a blank page, and the best strategy that I can recommend is just by creating the different sections that you're going to work in. Once you like break it down into small pieces, it's not as overwhelming as looking at like a full blank page. So I know I'm going to have a bottom washi going along the bottom, date cover deco at the top, a sidebar. This section is going to be my day-to-day, and then this section, I've got the last 2 days of the week here, and then decorative elements here. So it makes it less overwhelming to think of it that way, in my personal opinion. So let's go ahead and get started with my bottom washi. That is going to ground everything for me and really make this easy for me to start like coming up with ideas and getting creative and just making this work. So I'm going to put down my bottom washi. I really love this. Back. I'm going to be referencing my inspiration quite a bit for this one. I've got down this colorful strip of bottom washi. I absolutely want to pull in some foil, and let's see, this is my washi binder. Got silver in the middle here. And I just want to flip through. I have this music note washi, but I feel like that's not necessary because there's already music notes there. I don't feel like that would make like the big impact that I'd want it to have. But I do really love those music notes. Let's see. Trying to feel, the photo strips could be super cute. I want something kind of bold and statementy, but what? Ooh, definitely gonna pull that out. That's not bottom washi, but I may use that. This might give me what I want. This might be what I'm looking for. That could be really good. Because this is definitely too long for the page, I know I'm going to have to cut one end, and so since I know I have to cut one, I always end up cutting both ends. That way I don't have a finished end on one side and then a blunt cut on the other side. I like them both to match, so I always go in, cut one end, and then place it down and take that all the way across. And then I know I'm going to end up cutting this end as well. And now they match. Okay. Bottom washi is done, and now I can move on to my day cover deco. I went very, very simple with my bottom washi. I didn't add in a lot of different crazy elements or anything like that. But I do know that I'm going to be doing a lot with those boxes going across the center. And because I'm doing something like that, my primary thought and concern is wanting to keep balance, because it's going to be such a design feature to have those tilted boxes going all the way across the center. I don't want to have anything too busy like in the bottom washi or day cover deco area where it like distracts and then it gets like to be too much. So if I tend to have something that's like a really bold focal point, I try to make the things around it complement so that it doesn't distract from the impact that that's gonna have. So I think I'll go ahead and start with the full boxes because I want to get an idea of what that's gonna look like. I also like to pull in some alcohol ink swatches, which I have some. This is my deco sticker cubby, and this is so awesome and easy for storing my stickers. This is the alcohol ink swatches in Magnolia, which I think that color palette is going to work. These are leftover stickers from the Meadows kit, and I feel like that color palette also picks up some of the tones in here really nicely. I've got sage green, which green totally makes sense for this. Let's see. Is that clover too bold? I feel like clover is a little bit bold. Okay, so I have some watercolor swatches that are going to work with this. And now let's figure out how I want to place my boxes and which ones I want to use. Love this one because I'm only going to be able to use 5 of them. This is the point at which I switch over to a voiceover because I was not able to continue doing a talk through at this point. And that's because I started getting creative thoughts and ideas of how I wanted to put this down. And for me, my creativity definitely works best when I turn on music and just allow myself to relax and enjoy the planning process. I thought I was going to be able to do a talk through because I was repeating what I'd already done on that July spread. And I thought, oh, well, I'm just gonna be just like recreating this, so I should be able to talk through it. I was wrong. But that's cool. So I'm starting off by putting down the full boxes, and the great thing about using a Hobonichi sized kit is that these full boxes are small enough that I can take them across the center in a B6 planner, which I couldn't do if I were using the full boxes from a regular A5 wide kit. So I'm figuring out just like how I want to angle them, how they look next to each other. I'm placing them down, but not pressing them all the way down. If you can see, like all of the corners and sides of them are all just kind of sticking up. And that allows me to tuck the alcohol ink swatches behind them and reposition them as I need to, because it's going to take me a while to figure this out. And then as I'm placing those down, I'm adding in the script stickers and the lotus flowers, the coffee rings, all of it to give it this very, not give it, because to me the kit has that very vintage vibe to it. And so I really wanted to just pick up on what I was already seeing in the full boxes and pull in a lot of those foiled elements to accent it. This was a lot of fun layering. And then also I had the box liners from Paper Trail Plans, which allowed me to outline all of the boxes in foil really easily. Loved using those. And now I'm just also layering some florals around it and adding in some like little foiled dot clusters as well. And that's basically what I'm going to do to decorate around these boxes. It's just kind of feeling it out and placing things where it feels natural and where I want to accent. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and play some music while I continue to do this, and then I will pop back in at the next point where I feel like I need to explain what's happening. Moving up to the date cover deco area, I'm going to start with the alcohol ink swatches. I want to use that to give me just a base of some color in that area so that I'm not just working against a completely white background. And so I'm just cutting those up into really thin strips and kind of focusing on where the alcohol ink swatches have sort of like peaks and valleys. As you can see on this side of the page that's closer to the spiral, it sort of peaks on the end closest to the spiral, and I really wanted that. And I'll tend to do the opposite on the other side of the page where it sort of drops towards the edge of the page. For the most part, I love the fact that with alcohol ink swatches, it's just basically like blobs of color, so there's really not a lot of like structure to it, so I'm not trying to like get a specific shape anywhere, but I do kind of try to pay attention to like the flow of how they go and how it looks on the page. And it's just really a personal preference, however you like laying your alcohol ink swatches down. There's really no wrong way to do it. And then I'm adding in some of the floral deco, which I'm just trimming down so that it fits in that area, like having a blunt edge both top and bottom on that section when it comes to the florals. And so I always cut that very neatly so that it sits right on top of the columns. Now I'm pulling in my date scripts, and these are from Paper Trail Plans. These are the abbreviated academic font. And I love these, especially being in a B6 planner where I have limited space in my date cover deco area. These are sized so beautifully and allows me to pull in the days and the date dots and pull in a lot of deco around them really easily. To tie in with the theme of everything else that's happening on the page, I'm bringing in some of the music notes. And I have the music note dividers from Saucy Stickers. I also have the individual music notes from Saucy Stickers, which I love the combination of those. I feel like they work really well together. And then also, of course, the lotus flowers, which are just tying everything into the deco that I used around the full boxes down below. And that way it all looks really cohesive and really pretty. Yeah, and I'm liking that. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to also add in a few clusters, like one of those things, like the leaf foil clusters. Not a ton because I've already got the music notes going there. And then I'm going to finish up the date cover section by trimming it on the bottom. So let me slow down because I'll get there in just a moment and I'll be able to explain to you exactly what's happening. Don't want to get ahead of myself here. I used to edit my videos a lot more tightly and cut out a lot of things to try to keep it really short, honestly, when I was doing my voiceovers. But I really wanted to let this one really play out a bit more and let you guys see more of the process. And so here I'm going through one of my binders and I'm pulling out a very thin scalloped washi strip, and it's colorful. It's from the Pretty Pink Co. I picked these up on a $2 Tuesday release she had a couple months back. And I love this because I knew having just some thin, colorful scallops would come in handy. I picked up a couple of different colors that she offered, and there was a tan colorway that really matched this kit perfectly. So I'm putting that one down. It's bringing just a little bit of color to that area, but it also helps me trim that area really nicely. I love that really thin scallop. It's just a tiny little detail, but it adds something really nice to that area. And now I'm just going to go over it with this foiled washi trim. This is the dot and dashes one from Saucy Stickers. One of my absolute favorite washi stickers from Saucy Stickers at the moment. When I bought it, I picked up 2 of each foil color because I knew it was going to be an instant favorite. And then also because I know how I enjoy trimming that area and that washi sticker. There goes my cat Tiger. My cats have become like a staple in my planning life. And they are all over my videos at this point because I can't do anything without him jumping up on my desk. At the time that I'm doing this voiceover, I have my door closed and I can hear him clawing at the door. I'm gonna have to pause this voiceover in just a second to go get him to stop clawing at the door, but I had to close the door, otherwise he kept jumping up on the table and I couldn't just do this voiceover. These are problems I didn't have before. I guess doing voiceovers used to feel a lot simpler for me. But anywho, I am moving over, and one of the things I really enjoyed, and I've been doing more recently with alcohol ink swatches, is layering them on top of each other. And this was a lot of fun. I used to would just place my alcohol ink swatches strategically so they'd be part of the background, but I've really enjoyed layering them on top of each other. I think it gives this really beautiful look. And the colors mesh together really well, and it's also really fun when you're playing around with different colors, same colors layered on top of each other, different colors layered on top of each other. It ends up looking amazing, and I love the way this came together for this one. So as I was saying, I didn't cut this short to match up with the voiceover time in terms of editing down the video. So I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit more music. We're going to repeat everything I did on the other side of the date cover deco area. And I just want to play that out so you guys can see the full process and get a chance to enjoy that. Now that I've finished my date cover deco area, I'm moving into my sidebar. I wanted to lift up the bottom washi so that I could tuck this torn paper underneath that foil piece that I have down at the bottom washi. I'm creating a horizontal sidebar, and so even though I have my page oriented vertically at the moment, essentially it's going to be a horizontal sidebar. So it would be something I would look at sideways. So that music note torn paper is actually the top, and then we have the large floral on the side anchoring that other side, pulling in some of the alcohol ink swatches to tie in with what I have going on in the date cover deco area, make everything match up, and then also of course bring in some of that color to this area so that I'm not working on just a fully white background. Also tucked in some florals under that music note torn paper. Love the look of that. And then I'm just gonna trim this, add in some more florals. Also want to bring in, of course, more of the vintage deco elements and things that we've been using. It took me a minute to figure out what script I wanted to use, because originally I thought I was going to use the large academic font in the sidebar, and ended up going with the modern font. This is from Paper Trail Plans. They sell these really amazing large scripts that I love using, and large month scripts, and ended up going with the modern font, and I definitely think it was the right choice. I love using the academic font at the top. I'm glad I did that, and typically I'll try to match up since I have them now, where if I'm using the modern font for the month, I could use it for the days, but I ended up mixing the two, and to me it still totally works. And here I am bringing in, I loved that coffee ring, definitely wanted to break that up with a floral, just with the way that was layering. And I think I'm also going to add a little bit of a floral deco to it, and bring in the brush stroke on the other side. I had such a blast layering with some of these elements. It was just a lot of fun leaning into this theme because all of these different elements, they worked so well together, and there was already so much happening in the kit. It gave me a lot of inspiration in figuring out what kind of deco elements I wanted, and this was just really fun to play around with. Finishing up by adding in some clusters, because those little dot accents just add that perfect little accent to areas, I feel like those little clusters just always take things up a notch. Bringing in some more of the little individual music notes, those were so fun to play around with as well. Took me a minute to figure out how to like angle them down on the page in a way that I liked, but once I got the hang of it, I was really enjoying using those music notes. Trimming this with the dot and dash washi to finish off that section, and then I get to go ahead and move into my, oh no, not moving into the day by day yet. I need to set up my Saturday and Sunday. So the great thing about being in a B6 planner and having decided that I was still going to have a sidebar, bottom washi, and date cover deco, I had to come up with my own way of formatting my B6 that worked. And so what I do is I'll take Monday through Friday across the top, and then I put Saturday and Sunday down in the bottom section in the middle. Typically what I would do if I was using an A5 wide kit, on the bottom section underneath the Monday column and underneath the Thursday Friday column is where I would put my full boxes. But since I'm using a Hobonichi kit and I've got the full boxes going right across the center, I'm going to add deco to those areas in just a moment. But I need to section out and create headers for Saturday and Sunday, which is what I'm doing here. So there was a long thin strip that came in the kit. I just cut it down, trimmed it to header size, and then added in some floral deco, a brush stroke, a foiled floral, some confetti clusters. They were, I think, the foiled leaf clusters from Saucy Stickers. And I'm literally just repeating the same thing on both sides, the same exact deco, bringing in my date dot and my scripts, both of which are from Paper Trail Plans. And I'm just creating my own header for Saturday and Sunday. And I thought that came together really nicely in that section. Love the way those came out. Now, as I was saying, because I have the full boxes going across the center, I still have these two bottom sections on each side of the page that need to be decorated. And this is where it just got really, really fun for me, because the journaling kit had amazing large images. So I started by pulling in another one of those music note torn papers, because I'm so enjoying the whole music note vibe part of this kit. It was just truly fun. Then I brought in what did you call that, an atrium? It's like a garden scene with the trellis and the bench, and so beautiful. It's not an atrium. I'm just saying words at this point. It's a little garden scene. Brought in that butterfly stamp, and then used a foiled postage stamp stickers layered on top of that. And also, of course, brought in some more of that vintage script, the cute little coffee ring. And again, all of the elements and things that I'm pulling in and layering with the foiled elements were all inspired by what I was seeing in the kit anyways. And so if you are trying to figure out what you think might work well with the kit in terms of like adding in foiled accents, the full boxes can be so helpful for that. The deco that's already happening in the kit can give you a lot of inspiration just depending on what you're working on. So that was where I got all of the inspiration and why I knew I was just going to have such a great time planning with this kit, because it was so beautifully designed, and so there was so much going on with it, and it was a lot of fun to do. Pulling in this bicycle scene on the other side. Bicycles are one of my favorite things that show up in kits, and this was just truly fun. I cut a blunt edge on one side, and I'm glad I did that, where I've got like one side and then the other side has the true raw edge. I just think visually that came out really cute. Bring in more of the script, and of course I want to add in the same decorative elements to everything I put down on the page for like what I would consider my base. When I talk about the base of my spread, I'm generally referring to the bottom washi, date cover deco, sidebar, full boxes, and then that's what I consider my base. And then we have the day-to-day So when I'm using those words, that's what I mean. And so I really wanted my base to be really, really cohesive. And so every single element that I put down, I wanted to bring in those same decorative elements. I'm going to try to work in the same things with the day to day so that everything comes together really nicely. Moving on to Monday, one of the reasons that I moved into a B6 planner was that being in an A5 Y size planner was kind of overwhelming for me. It was giving me a lot of room and a lot of space to write things, and I didn't have that much going on in my life. Or at the point that I was at now, I was having more fun doing the decorative part, doing the base part of my spread than doing the day to day. And so I was fine with just writing down one or two things, especially because I use my plum paper planner to fully keep track of what's going on with everything. And this is more of a memory planner. And I was really just starting getting a chance to really lean into enjoying the crafty art part of what I do with my planner. So it's definitely a lot more about me having fun with my stickers than necessarily keeping a complete accurate account of what's going on with my day in this B6 planner. That's what I do in my plum paper planner. That one's just me writing down all my plans, staying organized and on top of my life. And so I love the fact that I'm able to do both. So on Monday, we needed maintenance repair for our screen door. Used a cute little third box for that, decorated with florals, and my icons are from Crafts by Towie. Because I used a box to start, underneath it, I went with a brush stroke and just some florals. Wanted to have a nice balance of things there, and I tend to try to do things like that where I'll alternate. Also, a lot of times what's happening in the column next to it will influence what happens, what I do in the next column. For example, on Tuesday, because I had a third box sized box on Monday at the top, I went with a quarter size box on Tuesday because I didn't want two boxes that were the exact same size, like right next to each other in the column, because I think visually it ends up looking better. We're on to Wednesday, so I'm back to, this is a midi box, third box size, added in a brush stroke, pulling in some floral deco around that. This was a fun one. When I started putting it down, actually when I got to about this point, it was looking a little wonky to me, and I was very much questioning whether or not I had made a horrible mistake with the way this was layered. But I ended up pulling in that foiled brush stroke, adding a foil on the other side, and then really bringing in that lotus flower down at the bottom, helped balance that out for me, made it look a little less wonky, and then I was okay with it. Underneath there, I'm not bringing in a box at all. I just want to decorate around that icon, which in this case I was using an Instagram icon. So I pulled in the coffee ring and some florals, and just allowed that to be the whole look that was happening there. On to Thursday, I started with one of the brush strokes, layered in a third box size midi box on top of that, added florals, and then one of those thin brush strokes, one of my favorite little accents for boxes. I love those because I think they're called ink stroke dividers. That's what they're called. And it really does like that look like an old fashioned like quill pen, just like took an ink stroke right across it. It's such an awesome look. Then underneath there was a music note decorated circle, cut that in half, layered a floral on top of that. Didn't even bring in an icon. I've been doing that a lot lately, just like alternating between where I feel like I want to use icons or just letting the deco just be deco, and not feeling necessarily like I have to have an icon to go with everything. And that's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying that when it comes to my spreads. On to Friday, there was that awesome sticker with the lotus scene in it. Had to have that on the page, so I put that down and then just decided to work around it. Brought in that quarter box, layered in the scripts. Really happy with how that came together. On Saturday, I started by using one of the scallop circles from the kit. Layered, there was a scallop circle floral wreath. And I layered those on top of each other. That came out super cute. Brought in one of those postage stamps to cut across that, which I thought gave it a little bit of edge because it was super cutesy with the florals and the scallop circle, and I thought bringing in a little bit of that vintage vibe gave it a little edge. Super fun. And then finishing up on Sunday, starting with that arch, layering in some florals around that, and then bringing in a third box. Was a very chill Sunday. Started with a self-care day, and then went and spent time hanging out with family, and that is it for this spread. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this kind of a different take on me talking through this plan with me, and really focusing less on talking about my plans and more on talking about the techniques and sort of my approach and how I like to plan. I feel like that's one of the questions I get so often, is what I'm thinking when I'm planning. And so I was hoping that by doing the voiceover this way, it would be really helpful in answering that question. So hopefully it was. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next video. Bye.